Hey there everyone, Steve Gonzer, physical therapist with Run Smarter Line. You guys can see me okay, just let me know in the comments. I think I'm in frame, and hopefully this works, but I want to talk to you guys about knee pain and run form, so let's get rid of this thing. I had some patients in the clinic today who were struggling with some knee pain, and truthfully, knee pain is one of the biggest things out there because you have an injury called runner's knee, so it's some irritation underneath the kneecap. But it's a pretty common issue. Most of the runners I work with are over the age of 40, who their knees are aging a little bit longer than younger ones, obviously, and they can use a little bit of help. So there's really two main ways that you can improve your knee health if you want to stay on the roads and you don't want to miss valuable training time. One of which is working on hip strength. Hip strength is one of the biggest supporters of your knee, so it's really important to make sure that you are actively involved in improving your hip strength. I want to talk more about the other one. And if you're interested in learning more on this topic, you can go to the link in this post, midfootproject.com, where we're going to be running a course that goes into deep in this. We'll show you how to work all this and work it into your training so that you can make this transition. Now, most runners run with what is a heel strike. They know this is bad. Well, I hit my heel first, or you look underneath your shoes and you see that part worn at the back of the heel. You're a heel striker. And we found this out kind of long ago, about a decade ago, that there is a right and a wrong way to run. It's not about big open strides where you're pawing at the ground and reaching with your heel. It's actually by improving your run form. So I want to share that research with you, because if you're someone who's worried about their knees now, in the next 6 months or the next 6 years, it's worth knowing what this change can do for you. Because when you hit the ground in your running, it's roughly about 3 times your body weight when you're running. So every time the heel comes and hits into the ground, bang. I talked a lot about your starting and stopping and the stride, but you have 3 times your body weight happening, and it happens in 5 milliseconds. So a lot of force quickly. I'm gonna need that eraser again. So it happens really quickly in your running. And here's the other thing that you should know about the stat, is that the average runner takes about 80 steps a minute, and that's on 1 foot. So you have a lot of force very quickly and very repetitiously. So if you think about this, if you could take that force and you can do a couple things to it. Here's some interesting stats for you. So you can change this. The cadence isn't really going to change too much other than some run form pieces, but let's take a look at these first two. 3 times your body weight. How are you going to offload your knee? If you have 3 times your body weight coming into contact with the ground, what you can actually do is lose some weight. And that helps offload the knee. It also offloads a lot of things in life. It's about 3 to 4 pounds per pound you lose is off your knee when you exercise. So you can lose body weight. That's one way. This would decrease the pressure at your knee. The other thing you can do, or in conjunction with that, is affect this number, this 5 millisecond number. This is really the damaging number for me, because you have a lot of force very quickly, very repetitiously, and what it does is it bangs away. So let's look at two things in run form. Now this won't be to scale, obviously, but it'll be what the research has shown us. So if we look at this graph, hopefully you can see this. Let's look at just this graph. So when a runner contacts the ground, they have all this weight coming in. Right here, coming down, represents heel strike. And the time there from the onset to the peak is about 5 milliseconds. Okay? So a lot of force quickly. Then you get actually the heel hits and the foot slaps down. That foot slap is here. So you get another impact and the force goes up, and then you come down towards push off, which is over here. So think about that. This is the normal when a heel striker runs. Heel hits, foot slaps, they go through their mid stance, which is all the way up through here, and they go towards push off, and their foot's off the ground here and here. So if we want to affect this number, what can you do? You can try to spread it out. So think about, if you take a lot of force and you spread it out over a longer period of time, it's less damaging. Very beneficial to running, because you can easily and methodically just change this number for the better. But not only does it help you in how your knees feel when you run, but it also helps you with speed. It stops your braking. I talk about heel strikers, when they run, they tap the brakes on every stride. And I can talk about that towards the end, but let's talk about how do you affect this 5 milliseconds. When we look at people who mid-foot strike, and they learn to land on a bent knee, I'm going to talk about this a lot as we get ready for the midfoot project. We can really affect this 5 milliseconds. Now, before I forget, if you want to learn how you can really affect that 5 milliseconds, go to the link above, midfootproject.com. We're going to be doing a whole 5-week course on this to help you guys transition off your heels. Here's what happens, though, when you are a midfoot striker. I wish I had another color. I think I do somewhere. Not in eyesight, so we're going to go with black again. So what ends up happening is, I'm going to check one thing. This is what you should not do when you're going to go on live on Facebook. You probably should be prepared with what you're going to draw. Here's 2 other colors. Let's see what happens here. Neither of these going to work. That one's not great. That one will work. So we're going to use blue. I want to show you this. If anyone can, so I don't forget, can you type midfootproject.com in the comments, just so that gets in there for anyone that's looking. I'll always forget. I hit the stop button and then I walk away and I have that squirrel moment from up. But when you midfoot strike, this is what happens. Your force comes up and then comes back down. So that blue line, hopefully you can see this. That maximum spike in force happens over a longer period of time. So let's just get rid of that. A longer period of time. And this has been proven in the research. And the reason is because when you land, you're going to engage in natural shock absorbers. So by extending this out, and this could just represent X, it is longer, you decrease the force of your knees, you protect your knees. And if you're someone who has cranky knees or stiff knees, or you get up in the morning, you got to get the blood flowing, this can really help your running, for sure. Now the reason this happens, I want to show you. Hopefully this makes sense. Throw me a like if this makes sense. Or if it doesn't, then let me know that as well. So we're going to get some ugly drawings in here. So let's just say you have a runner who's going to heel strike. And here's his other leg coming, or her leg, whatever. And what ends up happening here is here's the ground, and the ground's going to come up, and it's going to have, look at the force vector of that. It's all driving backwards. So it's a stopping motion on every stride that you take. Think about this in the terms of a jump. Because when you're running, you are literally jumping 80 times a minute over and over again. If you were going to jump off, even go up to your bottom step in your house. Jump off that bottom step, and don't do this because it would hurt, but imagine just landing straight-kneed. And if you land straight-kneed, there's no shock absorption there. You're literally taking your thigh bone and your shin bone and you're punching them together, and then as that momentum carries forward, they have to unlock. So this is where that huge spike comes from, is because you have a rigid, stiff leg entering the ground. Now, think about this jumping analogy again. Whenever someone jumps, what do? They bend their knees and they land into it. By allowing your joints to bend, you engage the natural shock absorbers, your muscles and your tendons. The cool thing about muscles and tendons is they give you free speed. Free speed. Your muscles and tendons are just like rubber bands. You stretch them, they pop off, and that doesn't cost any calories. So what it is you're getting a little extra pop in your stride, but you don't have to, divert energy to it. It's just a natural way that your muscles work. So if we take away this heel strike and say, okay, this is the bad, this is not what we want to do. This causes sore knees, it causes cranky knees. The other thing we want to do is let's look at a midfoot strike. I am getting marker all over myself. So if we have a midfoot strike, what ends up happening is the force, and really the key thing, I'll drop a little secret here, is to get this 90-degree angle and a nice vertical shin. But what happens here is the force pushes up. You notice how it's not this nastiness we saw with the heel strike. By that force pushing up, a couple things happen. This back leg can push you up and over the top. This is getting ugly. Gotta watch what I'm doing here. But you engage your natural shock absorbers that do what? They give free speed. So your shock absorbers are your midfoot strikers. This allows you, when you land in every stride, you push off and you land, you can soften the blow and land into it. As you soften that blow, you load the rubber bands and you throw them into your next stride with all that free energy. So if you're a runner who wants some free speed, if you want to you want to protect your knees, you should be really considering that switch to midfoot strike because it spreads the force out. It gives you extra speed. It does a lot of great things for your running. If you're looking at anything in run form, this is the best place to start. If you're interested in learning more about how to do this, go to midfootproject.com. We are opening, the class is open, but we're closing. We're going to get started on April 1st. We're going to lead you through 5 weeks of how to make this transition safely. And we've been doing this for the last 10 years with Pat O'Connor, my co-founder of RunSmart. And you're going to be working with us one-on-one as we take you the whole class through this transition. We hold your hand, give you everything you need to make this work. So midfootproject.com if you're interested in learning more, and hope everyone has a great night, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow with another live. If you have any questions, definitely drop them in the comments. All right, bye guys.